In 1974, I was 16 years old. That was a very sensitive age. I suppose if I was younger, a baby, 4 or 5 years
Turn
old,
back because they actually came really close and the gun had almost fallen on our bonnet of our car. So what we hadn't realised there was now a curfew and there'd been a military coup. And the president had been
consciously
overturned
aware
by the Greek government.
They tried to assassinate.
Homeland, friends, village, region, and suddenly you have to leave. At the beginning, it wasn't like that, and we thought we are going to leave for a couple of days and come back. It was a war. They were shooting and shelling and the aircrafts and the military vessels and everything. We took nothing at all, not even a second pair of clothes. As the time passed, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, we realized that there is a possibility we will not come back. And that's what happened. We moved gradually to the west of the country. I come from Kaireni district. It was very hard because, I repeat, at my age, the net of my society broke. My classmates, my friends, schoolmates, colleagues, neighbors, even relatives, we had to spread all over. And we had to survive. No work, no money. We had to continue our study in a strange school. Strangers, the classmates, the teachers, everything was different, was stranger to us. Yes, it was a very hard period, which, to be honest, showed the effects later on, years after. When it was happening, we didn't realize so much what impact it would have in our future life.
And again, we just have to wait.
Yeah.
And listen. I mean, as you know, there's a British base, so we were waiting for them to let us know when we could go into the bases.
But in the meantime, we had air raids, so that was terrifying, wasn't it? That was really frightening. There were air raids of Turks bombing the area we were in. And so when we see things on television now about war zones and people being bombed, you really, once you've lived through it,
I think for
you realise.
Well, Mum told us since, for her, the scary thing was obviously, I mean, we weren't by far the worst place, at all. But, as a mother, you think you've got 3 young daughters, and she was more concerned about our
But I suppose that humankind has a way to overcome things, one way or another.
Where we lived was predominantly, it wasn't.
What else do you want to know?
Did you have to, do you still have your house back on the other side of the border?
Yeah. We have the house and we have the work.
Can you go back there?
You can go back, yes, provided you can show your passport or your ID. It's like you're going to another country.
Does it feel the same? Can you call it home or?
No. Because, strange enough, the house has been modified. The garden is not there. The trees and the lemon trees, the orange trees and pomegranates we have and fig tree, there's nothing there of these things. The house itself have changed. And the spirit of what we call home was not there when I visited. Major role played the people who were in the house. They were very hostile to us. In the contrary, the workshop is taken over by potters, and they still work as potters, as a potter. One of them was very...
being parachuted nearby, and she had that talk with us, didn't she? And she said if troops had come in, that she would ask us to be killed first. And she said, I need you to understand why. So she said to us, the reason for that is because I need to be sure if when they kill me that they can't do anything more to you. And that must have been terribly hard for her. But she needed to tell us that's what would happen. So she wanted us to understand that if the troops came in, that's what would happen. She would ask us to be killed first.
As if the time didn't touch anything.
And then we heard on the radio again.
He said that there was the impact of your dislocation would show later on. How do you feel now about it? Or like what impact?
I feel I have a mixed feelings I have. First of all, they tried to change the demographic character of the area. They changed the name of the streets, the name of the villages. They used their own names. It's not inhabited by Turkish Cypriots, mainly Turks from Turkey and east of Turkey, Anatolia. As I said before, I'm not a religious person.
They said to you, I would where we were today, you're on your own. And so once you had to be at a certain time, and then there'd be a military, what's it called, a patrol to protect you up to that point.
And I think how they did it, although I might be wrong, is that they did it by region areas.
Yeah.
So obviously there'd be quite a lot of people, a lot of English people in Cyprus at the time, and tourists, and on holiday as we were. And so then we drove into the bases.
That was sad though, because remember we were seeing the Cypriot people. I remember sitting in the car and seeing all the Cypriot people standing there watching us, and we felt really guilty. I felt really guilty. I'm sure you did. And just thinking we were the lucky ones. This was their country, and we were the lucky ones. We were given like an escape route out, because there were terrible things happening to people then. And then when we got to Akrotiri,
which is
a
not,
base there,
to my opinion, a democratic country.
As you see now,
queuing.
I wouldn't like to live in a place like that. I would like to have my human rights respected. And I would like to feel that
They were giving us salt tablets.
whatever happens, justice will work. I don't feel that. So, I don't know what to say. I would love to go back, but with this condition.
Is there, are you still in contact
with loads of Cypriots camping outside because they felt that was the safest place for them to be. They couldn't come in but being outside the bases, British bases, was probably the safest place for them to be. So we had to drive through that, and then when we got in, we waited for hours, and then we were assigned a place to sleep. And then when we got into this room, basically, not much bigger than this, and it was for like how many families?
Well, there was quite a few people in the same room you had to share. As children, when they said mealtime, we set the table. It was like a mess. Obviously, it wasn't. And we set it for almost 3 courses.
Because we hadn't eaten much, had we, for days?
Very much.
Yeah.
But, we didn't.
Was it during that war?
No, it was,
there wasn't much food at
2
all.
years
Nina and I and my cousin Margaret would clean for
want
the
to
soldiers, so we'd get tins of fruit. Yeah, so we'd get.
as I said, it was compulsory. But I felt that is my duty, and I had a lot of anger inside. I know that Turkey is a huge country in comparison with Cyprus. They are 80 million and we are 500,000. But I was ready to defend my country if something happened. No matter how impossible it could be. Now, I changed my ideas, and I think that wars are planned and prepared by higher level people who don't care about ordinary people. The soldiers in this side and the other side have nothing to do with war, with politics. And they just drag people into war for their own interests. So if you would ask me, would I fight if anything happens? I'll say, if I can avoid it, I will avoid it. Because I know it's not for my people's interest, it's for someone else's interest. The big countries drag the small countries into wars for interest.
They said when we landed not to talk to any press, not to talk to anybody, we went into this big room and they just had loads of clothes which obviously people had donated, and so we just choose some clothes to wear. So we did, and then we went into a nice cosy bed. No, they said, would you like to eat, because we were starving. And I remember having, it sounds terrible now as a vegan, I had a steak and kidney pie. I always remember that. Steak and kidney pie. And because we were on our own and very young, we had a colonel looked after us, didn't he? And he was lovely.
I think the sad thing for them is that obviously they had more horrific stories of people, having to leave their homes and, war-type situations, on both sides, I'm sure. People being tortured and things like that. But I think the tragic thing as well is that one of our aunts, she still lives in the same house, but beyond her house is a field, and where the line is, the green line, they had a house, say the other side of the road or the field, so they can see a house that belonged to them that they can never go to, because it's just abandoned there, things like that. I think the sad thing is that the Turks and the Cypriots lived together quite harmoniously before, and that they didn't think that themselves as Turkish or they thought Cypriots. And now, with politics as it is, it just ingrains hatred in people, and I just think that's sad.
And I think as children, all the places that we used to go to as children, like Kyrenia, Famagusta, Belabais, where our school used to be in Nicosia, have just kind of disappeared. They're there, but they're not places you can revisit. We can revisit. That's kind of sad.
I think, I think the sad thing is that it's a small country. It's been divided unnecessarily. The people that lived here in harmony don't now. They've just created an issue. Even recently there were talks as to whether they, would yes, and that's not going to happen because I don't think governments want that to happen. It's not about the people that live together. To count. It's about politics.
As a child, I remember driving through villages with mosques in, and it was never an issue. It was never that feeling that it was a no-go area or anything like that.
And also
it's a sort of experience you don't want to have. Once you've had it, you think actually it's a good thing if you come out of it okay, because then you have a much more empathy for people who are in those sort of situations. Where you lose everything, you lose your home, you lose everything. And like Nina said, we were the lucky ones, because I remember seeing a truck with bodies on, and on our way on that journey, and seeing trucks with legs and stuff hanging out, and you knew that actually people were
soldiers being young boys, like,
and they were. We were in the middle of crossfire, weren't we, from soldiers. And you think they look like children. Even at 13, they look like children. So it was a very fast unfolding situation. It just happened very, very quickly. But you went from peace to military coup to war within a week, or what seemed like probably a week, 10 days. So it all happened very, very fast.